Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 1987 cult classic film Hellraiser. This is written and directed by Clive Barker, stars Doug Bradley as lead Cenobite. So, this is the first movie that started the franchise, right? The Hellraiser Pinhead franchise. The lead Cenobite we all know and love as Pinhead. He is not called Pinhead until future films, right? I want to say the second film, possibly the third. We got to rewatch all these films. There's like 9 of them. There's another one coming out at the end of the year on Hulu. Another reimagining of Clive's original book. So I think it's going to be more source materials of it, which is interesting because Clive wrote and directed 1987 Hellraiser based off of his book, which I can't remember the name of. Something with Cenobites. Cenobites, Cenobites. So this is a very interesting story. It's about masochism. So it's about the combo, the duality of pain and pleasure for certain individuals, the whole BDSM kind of scene. So in this particular story, you have this character, Frank Cotton. He trades this, I want to say a Chinaman. I don't know specifically what country he is actually in, but he's in some Asian country, and he's not trading per se, but he's getting this, sacred box, this sacred cube, which is a very fancy and elaborate Rubik's Cube, kind of, that opens a portal, if you will, to another realm, to another hell realm, where you can experience whatever pains and pleasures you desire, kind of a thing, but in more in a masochistic kind of way. So the lead Cenobite is Pinhead, who we know of by name years later. And so he's, Doug's character's got the whole white makeup on, the pins throughout. I have a wonderful mask on my mask display. I have one of my mannequins in the Pinhead costume for Halloween. That was a lovely time trying to obtain all of that. Very difficult to obtain all of that to have for my Halloween villain display, horror villain display. So the story itself has Frank Cotton getting the box, coming back to America, even though it was filmed in England, whatever. And so he has his brother who's married to this woman, Julia, who is the step-parent of this young girl in her 20s, Kirsty. Kirsty is visiting, her dad and stepmom to see the old house that her grandmother used to own, because now her father now owns it. And so it's a matter of, fixing up the house or whatever. But then these things happen. And then Julia is getting involved with Frank again. Frank being the long-lost brother who nobody's seen in quite some time. But because he's been in the hell world all this time, dealing with all the pains and pleasures, but he escaped the Cenobites. So now it's a matter of Christy then comes in contact with the box after Frank is convincing Julia to kill multiple people so he can come back into human form. Very bloody, disgusting, beautiful puppetry. The animatronics were practical back in the 80s. It was practical effects with a dash of CGI. Now it's all CGI with a dash of practical effects. I love the original feel of practical effects, that grit kind of foamy puppetry. Oh, it's just gorgeous. The reverse cinematography, not reverse cinematography, the reverse shot when you have a chain shoot into camera, it's actually shot backwards. So it's actually someone pulls the chain away from something and then it's reversed so that way it looks like it's shooting out. Love it. Love those camera tricks. So Kirsty then fights Frank because the Cenobites are now in not her control, but they are now on her bidding because she solves the cube after she takes it from Frank. And she kind of makes a deal with them. She's like, listen, I don't want any of this. But I know that Frank escaped you. Let's make a deal. And she gives him back to them. And then she burns the cube. And then a boned dragon escapes from the fire with her as she's standing next to her new friend that she rents a room with. It's so quick. It's like an hour and a half, if that. But it has a lot of depth to it. It's a very psychological film. It's very gory. It's very creepy. There's just certain scenes where just stick out and you get chills. Like the most simplest of scenes, just because of the way the strings in the background of the score play out, is when Kirsty's hiding in a closet and she leans back and she hits a body, and the body of someone Frank killed pops forward, spits out some maggots, but but the corpse just drops some magnets. Not like it's a zombie. It's just a corpse, and the maggots come out, and then it slowly goes back into the shadow. And just that camera trick alone, it still gives me creeps. That's probably my favorite scene in the entire film, just because it's so not needed, and it's only there for scare factor. But it's creepy, and I still get goosebumps to this day, all these years later, still talking about it. So Hellraiser, 1987 Hellraiser, an incredible film, an incredible start to the franchise that it is. I'm very curious what this new 2022 version is going to be like. I don't know if Doug Bradley's in it. I know Doug Bradley's been in all of them except for one as lead Cenobite, aka Pinhead. Now we got to watch the second pretty quick, because I mean, obviously it's spooky season, so we're going through our horror films as we can, and yeah, I gotta look into that. I can't remember which one he was not Pinhead in, and I don't remember when Pinhead was named Pinhead. I have some research to do. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.